Hello everybody and welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be working on the shop, doing something really cool, or something to help keep us really cool. Today we're going to be spray foaming the inside of the shop. And that does a couple of things for us. That helps that Mr. Cool AC unit over there not have to work so hard to keep the shop cool, saving me some pennies, and also helps control the humidity in here. Now, if you have any experience with the spray foam, be sure to comment down below. I read all y'all's comments. That also helps other folks have a takeaway from what I'm trying to pass on my experience to you guys. A couple of things I learned if you're thinking about having this done. Anything that you don't want a yellow film of dust covering, including stuff that's important in the attic space, needs to get covered. As you can see right now, they're back there covering the floors. It's a learning experience for me. So I thought I was doing them a solid by trying to have everything covered up, but previously I had the walls all covered, boxes covered, machinery all covered. I thought I had it, but it's all got to be covered. Everything. Every inch of everything has to be covered from, just basically from the fallout, right? So it's not like it's high pressure, just anything that can get covered in a dust. It's got to get protected. So we're doing that now, and hopefully soon we'll get spraying.
When you run the two chemicals at 130 degrees at 1200 psi and you force them together to where they atomize in the gun, it will make open cell spray foam like that.
Every one of you watching this screen, look out, because soon, very soon, the most horrifying monster menace ever conceived will be oozing into this theater.
How long until that spray foam gets like hard?
It's done.
So will it always stay soft like that? Or
Yes.
does it...
Yes.
An old man finds it, touches it, and this is the shocking result.
Oh, it's hot. Wow. What about the fire retardant that's in that?
It has a 15-minute ignition barrier built into the foam. They manufacture the chemical with the 15-minute ignition barrier already in it.
It's indestructible. It's indescribable.
Still a little bit cold, but it has the open cell structure like a sponge, and it's real soft.
It is.
The power plant of the trailer is a 40 kilowatt 4-cylinder diesel generator. What the generator powers is the 3-phase air compressor up front, which you always have constant air running, and then it also powers the spray machine here, which has an A heater, a B heater, and a hose heater that will maintain the temperature of the chemical, so it, with air and heat and pressure, it atomizes and makes the open cell spray foam.
So here's the two different chemicals, the component and the catalyst, I guess here. Pumps. There's another pneumatic, double diaphragm pneumatic there. All that chemical comes over and is mixed. He was talking about the A heater, the B heater, the hose heater. The guys tell me this will be an R20 rating, roughly. It might be a little bit more, depending on how thick they put the insulation up there. It looks like it's spraying in pretty heavy, meaning it's spanning a lot past the 2x4 cord on the trusses. So he's thinking there's going to be about 6 inches of thickness, what he estimated was going to be up there. A couple interesting things about when you spray foam your attic space, what you're actually doing is sealing off all your ventilation. So you don't have a ridge vent anymore, you don't have gable vents, because you condition the whole space. So that's good in a lot of aspects, because we like to be able to keep this whole space cool and at an even temperature. So he's spraying both gables and all of the underside surface of the roof. So that's going to keep everything at a nice even temperature inside the shop. The trouble with doing that is we lose ventilation. We lose that natural convective ventilation that happens when the heat rises, goes out the ridge vents, draws in fresh air. So for welding, it can cause us a little bit of problem here in the shop. Luckily, you know, I've got that Lincoln fume extractor that does a really good job. We can also open the doors and ventilate the shop horizontally by forcing the air through the shop with fans. This is pretty cool. You got me.
Yeah, don't wipe right away. Yep.
Tell you what, they don't want to come off the camera lens. Woo! At all. Well, as you can see, plastic's all down. It's been a pretty long day. Pretty happy with what I see so far. We'll know in a couple of days. A couple of takeaways here. Number one, the shop is incredibly bright, almost like I put in brand new light fixtures and LED lighting, because the ceiling is now white and it reflects a ton more light down here. The drawback to that is you can now see all the crap in my attic. It kind of blended in before, and because it was dark colors, you could never see it. The good news is, even with this door open, it is notably cooler in here with the air conditioner running. These guys, they did an amazing job. I have way more than 6 inches. I probably am closer to 8, maybe even 10 inches of foam up there in the ceiling around everything. It's crazy how much that stuff expands. Kind of one of the things I don't like, but it can't be helped because of the situation. I had done a really nice job on the conduit, having all the conduit laid out, and now all that conduit is encased in the foam. Now, that's actually a really good job, and the reason is he made sure I had that full 6 to 8 inches of foam plus more. It took that much room to get away from the plywood from the ceiling there. What I notice already is the temperature change, and it seems weird because, you know, there's no sun anymore, but it's remarkably cooler in here with the Mr. Cool unit running, and I'm gonna take that away from the humidity is lower, even with the door open. I mean, it's still raining this evening a little bit, even with the door open, and it feels drier. The cats are super excited. They're playing with a piece of that foam. Apparently it's pretty entertaining for them. Obviously a lot of cleanup still to be done. Things got to get put away, but I'm really excited that this is done. Interested to see over the next couple of days how this responds to the temperature. You know, we've had 106, 107 degree days here, and it's been pretty brutal. Even with the air conditioner running, it's just over there panting its little fan motor off, trying to keep up with the heat. So, you know, I figured I could either invest my money in insulation, or I can invest my money in electricity for the air conditioning unit. The one thing that I'm really looking forward to is they guarantee me that with the properly working air conditioner, and if I get some weather stripping on the top side of those doors, I should be able to get the relative humidity in here down to 50% or lower. So 50% or lower is pretty low relative humidity for machinery, because then you don't get the surface rust on it that we battle. You can see it on the drill press. It doesn't matter what you do, this stuff just rusts. You can put anything you want on it, everything I've ever tried. If you don't stay on it, if you get busy and you're working on other projects, it just sneaks up on you and it's got you. So again, a lot of cleanup work to do, but that'll happen over the next couple of days, and I'll get back with you and let you know how it's doing. All right, everybody, it's been a little while since we had the ceiling of this shop spray foamed, and I wanted some time to go by so that I could give you an honest opinion about whether or not people should spend the money having their buildings spray foamed. I can say 100% I would spend the money again in a second. It is well worth it. And there's the obvious benefits, like, you know, the air conditioner, because of the insulation value, runs about 1/3 of what it used to have to run to keep the shop at a stable temperature. Now, there's some other benefits that took me a while to figure out what was actually going on. So the air temperature in the shop feels like it cools much quicker. So if the shop's 92 degrees and I set it at 75 degrees and I come in here and start to work, the shop feels like it cools off much quicker. And it probably is because of some of the R value, the insulation value up in the ceiling. When we spray foam the ceiling, the ridge vent and the soffit vents, all the vents and the gable vents are all sealed off now. So there's no longer humidity coming into the shop. Now, on a night like tonight, the doors are open, it's very humid out. You can probably see I'm sweating. It's very humid out. We have in Central Florida a 90% relative humidity like all the time. So what would happen is the heat that's normally generated either by the machines, by welding, by sweaty bodies, or just because it's warm in here, that heat rises to the peak in the roof and goes out the ridge vent. When it goes out, if the doors are down, it replaces that air by bringing cooler air in through the soffits. Well, as that air is coming, that cool air is being replaced coming up in here, what it's doing is bringing in that humid air from the outside. Now that all of that is sealed off, that air conditioner is able to lower the humidity in here much, much quicker. And I think that's why it feels comfortable in here much faster. One other benefit that it just struck me right away is the sound deadening ability of this foam. And it's really an odd thing, but I actually like it because I live out here away from people. I can make all the noise I want. I can bang out here at night, drill, hammer, grind without bothering hardly anybody. And so most of the time I don't care how much noise I make because I'm not bothering anybody. But what I didn't realize is how much the noise bounces around inside the shop when you're running a grinder or banging on an anvil, straightening a piece of metal or doing whatever you're doing. It's much quieter in here, and it's almost the first time I got in here, it just sounded funny inside my shop. Again, it's one of those little bonus things that came with the spray foam that I didn't expect. Thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure the little bell's been clicked. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you again real soon.